Welcome to The Secrets of Success. By following the proven techniques of the guests who appear on this series, you'll learn that even successful people run into detours and failures, and how you can apply their success techniques to change your life.
You're now listening to the most unique show on radio, the show dedicated to making you a success. We hear a lot about AI, or artificial intelligence, but is EI really more important? We'll find out today from our guest, Harvey Deutschendorf. Harvey, thanks for being with us today.
Well, I'm thrilled to be on. Looking forward to being on your show.
Now, we all hear about AI that's become so big in all the TV shows and articles, etc. But your books are about EI. Can you explain to our audience, first of all, what does that stand for and what does it really mean?
Well, it's emotional intelligence, Bill. It's emotional intelligence is our ability to understand our emotions, differentiate between them, and manage them, as well as managing the emotions of others. That's sort of the standard definition of emotional intelligence. I know we can manage our own emotions, quite well. Can't quite manage others as well, but I know that we can influence them, and it's a simple test. Will give you that. Go into any supermarket and just have a stone face or a grouchy face and look at people and see the reaction you get. And then go in there and have the biggest smile you can put on and just look at people and see what reaction comes back to you. That's a simple test to show that, yes, our emotions do influence people, and they influence them to a great deal.
That really is a good, fun, and simple test that like we could all do at least once a day as we walk into a shopping mall. Just either go into the supermarket first with the puss on and be grouchy for about a minute, and then come back in the other door, and just to try it out. It'd be a lot of fun. I'm going to do that. I hope you don't get me in trouble or punched in the nose, but if you do, I'm going to blame you. Now,
you won't.
Does the person come out in life like our body weight, or I'm going to compare it with IQ, which most of us for years have known as intelligent quotient?
Yeah.
Does a person have a score on this, or to begin with? Is there some way to know that Harvey's emotional quotient is 108 or 214 or 3008?
Yeah, there are tests out there that I'm qualified to do one of them, the certified test, which means they have stood the test of time. They've been sort of scientifically validated. They've been run so many times and have the same results. And usually those tests, you have to take it with somebody who's certified to administer them. They're not just the tests that you take online. I've got a little quiz on my book. It's 15 questions that are self-scoring, but it's just a fun quiz. It hasn't been scientifically validated, but it's close enough to give you the feel for what emotional intelligence is.
Now, can a person increase this, or do they want to? First of all, do they want to increase their scores on this? Is that a good thing? And can they do it? Is this possible through life with either coaching or teaching or reading your books?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I'm so excited about emotional intelligence, is that it's unlike IQ, which we basically have what we have when we reach about the age of 18. Emotional intelligence we can change. We can change it drastically, and I'm a living, breathing example of that, because if we want to change, we're able to. We can take courses. We can. It's something that we can practice. We can get better at, and it's a skill. And like any other skill, we can learn it.
Is this, to use layman's terms, meaning my terms, every once in a while I think of my friends and I think, why do I like this person on top of the pile? Why would I put him or her first? Is this basically a personality that kind of syncs with us, goes in together, and we both feel comfortable, you and I, talking to each other?
Yeah.
We may have things in common. We may have backgrounds we remember. We were born in the same town or same state or something. Yeah. Is that what emotional intelligence is built on?
Well, that'd be part of it. It's but the other thing is the person that you you like to be around, it's likely that this person listens to you, remembers things about you, and engages you in conversation. They're also a good listener. It's not a one-way conversation. They probably don't even know what emotional intelligence is, but they possess it in some manner, because they're people that you want to be around, you want to connect with, and you want to spend time with, because they make, when you're talking to them, it's not all about them. They pay attention to you, they listen to you. It's a two-way thing, and that takes emotional intelligence to be able to do that. That's a skill, to do that. So many times when you're talking to people, there's two people having a conversation, but they're both carrying on monologues. Nobody is listening. They're both can't wait till the other person finishes talking so they can talk about what they want to talk about.
That's so true. And I think of it with friends and myself too. I may want to say something to you about last night's game or the Super Bowl or something that happened last year's World Series or something. And I'm going to get it in the conversation or express my views on a new law or something in the news. And maybe the person I'm talking to almost feels the same way. He or she has to tell me how traffic was coming over and why they don't like the food in this restaurant. And boy, when we meet that person where we're in sync with, when we're talking, I talk, they listen, they talk, I listen, and it's a real verbal conversation. Wow, that's like an extra 30 points that we hope the teacher used to give us on the test.
That's a real connection. You're connecting with a person. That's quite different than two people talking and having monologues, and the other person isn't really listening. They can't wait for you to finish talking so they can tell you what they want to tell you. That's quite different when you're having a real conversation.
Is there anyone in the news, let's say, or of prominence, maybe they're not in the news, but that you'd use as an example of emotional intelligence?
Well, Tom Hanks, this well-known actor, he would be somebody who I consider to be highly emotional intelligence. When he's interviewed and things like that, he's very much interacting with whoever's interviewing him. He's very, very in tune to what's going on. He's another one was Alan Alda. I don't know if you remember Alan Alda. Sure. What was it, MASH? Yeah. He was another one who's quite emotionally intelligent, quite in tune. They're usually people that don't have huge egos. That you can put their egos aside and listen to others and have them part of the conversation. And talk about they're not people usually that take credit for themselves. They usually want to give credit to their teammates and things like that, and others they work with. They're not people that are really, really high on themselves. Yeah.
If you met someone and you were talking to them, does a person have any idea now? I know I'm not a good athlete. If I play a sport, it's more of a social sport or just for exercise or fun or to burn some calories. But I think that's a fair assessment. If you saw me play any sports, you might not even rate me that high. But do people have a fair understanding of their own emotional intelligence? Or do they say, oh, no, I'm just great in everything. I'm the best golfer. I'm the best tennis player. And I'm also, high. What would the equality of an A+ in emotional intelligence?
Well, I mean, people that with high emotional intelligence are people that have a good understanding of what they're good at and what they're not good at, and don't sort of brag about what the things that they're good at and stuff. They're very humble about the things that they are good at, and they sort of downplay them though, but also they're aware of what they're not good at, and they don't try to talk about things that they're not good at, things like that. But they're very open about their own abilities. They don't feel the need to boost themselves up in areas that they're not good at all.
Harvey, if you went into a room, could you spot this in whether it's a high school class or a college class? I mean, I don't mean just spot it immediately in a group of 100, but if you walked around and talked to a few of them and got a chance to meet them at a function, let's say, so you had some one-on-one time, at the end of it, would you come out and say, Herb was really good, but Sally, I'd put her on the other end in EI?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if that was the case that you mentioned, Herb would be somebody who, when I was talking to them, was really listening. And they would ask me questions about what I just said, or ask me to give them more information, expand on what I was saying. They'd show an interest in me, and they would show an interest in me not only through paying attention to me, but I could see in their body language that they were interested in me and interested in hearing what I had to say. And having a back and forth conversation, where on the other hand, Sally would just look at it as an opportunity for just to tell me about herself and tell me what she was interested in. And unless there was something that I specifically had to offer her that I could help her with, she wouldn't have that much interest in me. It would be mainly about her, and she wouldn't be interested in making a real connection. It would just be something sort of, well, what can I get from this person? How can they help me? Which I mean, it might be the same case for Herb, but he would try to first make a connection with me. He would try to understand who I am. He would try to understand where I'm coming from. He would really listen to what I'm saying instead of just waiting till I finished talking so he could talk about what he wanted to talk about.
Well, now I have to violate that rule because at certain points in the show, I have to let the audience know some information. So I'm going to talk more to you, but I have to let our audience know that if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Bill Horan. Our guest today is Harvey Deutschendorf. He is the author of several books, Emotional Intelligent Game Changers and The Other Kind of Smart. And Harry, would you tell us where we can, your website, where we can get some more information about these books and learn more about EI?
Yes, the website is theotherkindofsmart, one word.com. That's theotherkindofsmart.com. The books are on the website, and you can actually purchase them right through. There's different connections to Amazon and other bookstores out there that you may prefer.
Now, I'm just thinking of a real practical question, real honest. Parent hearing this and they say, look, we know our son Joe isn't going to be in the Harvard, Yale category in school. He struggles, good kid, works hard, gets his C plus Bs, and nothing wrong with that. Is this someone you'd say, hey, this is someone who work on that EI? Because in terms of an IQ, obviously, and everybody agrees, the parents too, he's not going to go shooting up from maybe 100 or 105 to 160 or 180. Yeah,
that's where EI is important here, Bill, because it's IQ that will get us good grades in school. But other than or getting us into good colleges, things like that. Other than that, though, research has shown that it's really our EQ that counts, that really matters when we're in the workplace. Because after the first job, we're in our first job, nobody's going to look at our marks anymore, and it's going to be how we're able to connect with others, how we're able to influence others, whether how we work with others. That makes all the difference in how we're going to advance in the workplace. It's not the person with the high marks, with the high IQ. It's to do with how they understand themselves and how they understand people around them that's going to get them promoted. And there's a survey done not too long ago, and 71% of hiring managers and human resource people said that they would hire somebody with emotional intelligence over skills and as well as IQ. Emotional intelligence is what they would hire because you can train people. You can train people to do, technical aspects of the work, but it's important to have somebody that works well with others. gets along with others, motivates others, that type of thing. And those are the people that will get advanced in the organization, because that's how they provide the lubricant. A lubricant in the organization.
That's a great, I love that term for it. And I just want to repeat something you said, and this shows you I'm listening to you and I'm connecting. You said 71%, so that's 7 out of every 10 of the hiring managers want that person with emotional intelligence compared to someone who might have a greater skill set. Yes,
that's correct. They realize how important that is, because they see after they hire people, the people that they want to keep around, the people that they want to promote after, the people that are make connections with others, that people want to be around, people want to work with, people want to work for. So those are really, really important skills. And a lot of people have said, I don't know why they call those soft skills. Those are really, really hard skills. Those are important skills. They're what makes an organization work well.
I think we take for granted that sometimes we should be able to work with them easily or get along, and everybody's just one big happy family. And it's until you are sitting close to somebody or have to work with somebody who just doesn't gel with you that you really appreciate those kind of skills.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it makes all the difference, when you have somebody that you're really looking forward to coming to work. They like working with them. They're supportive of you. When you're struggling, they're looking for ways to help you instead of looking for ways to, take advantage of that or whatever. They're supportive people. They're team workers. They're people who, are liked by their coworkers as well as they're appreciated by management, because it makes everybody's work so much easier. It makes it more pleasant.
Now, there was a section of your book, a couple of paragraphs, and you talked about a couple of words that seemed out of place. Now, I remember reading something about this and how it ties in with EI, but I'd like you to explain it to us. And the subsection was the role of impulse control or delayed gratification. And just those terms make me feel smart that I'm using big words like that. So now I'm going to throw them back to you. The impulse control or delayed gratification. What does that mean, and how does that apply to EI?
Okay, Bill, those are impulse control is basically when we feel a strong emotion, especially a strong and negative emotions, is that we're able to control those emotions. So when something pops into our head, it shouldn't always come out of our mouth. It's something negative that happens, and we all know people who will speak before they think, and they'll say things that are very damaging. People have lost jobs, have lost careers because of things that they've said without thinking them through, and that's impulse control. And we have to, if we're feeling a strong impulse. And it could be something that could be damaging if the trick is to wait 6 seconds so we give ourselves a chance to relax, because when messages come into us, they reach what's called our amygdala, which is our primitive part of our primitive brain. I'll explain it very quickly here, because and that's what happens when people, for example, road rage, things like that, when people do things without thinking that they'll later regret. But if we give ourselves about 6 seconds, those messages will reach our thinking brain, our executive brain, and we'll be able to respond. After we thought about it, we'll make a much better decision. We won't respond, with anger or things like that, and we'll be able to make a decision that will respond much better than if we just react, before we had a chance to think.
I think that's a great example, because how many of us, as soon as something happens that we don't like or the other person is at the light 1 second longer than we think is appropriate, we slam on the horn or we cut in ahead of them to show them we're impatient, we have to go. And certainly if we gave 6 seconds, we'd think about it, and also would think, is it worth it? It might be just a 2% chance that person can get really angry or bump my car or come out and start screaming at me. But even if it's just a matter of a yelling dispute where we scream at each other, we just wasted 10 or 15 minutes screaming. We hurt our feelings. We stressed ourselves out. And for 6 seconds, it would go away, right?
Yeah. We'll the emotions go down very quickly. We'll realize, that once we start thinking that level, because of our emotions, will go down right away, and we'll start thinking about it. Because once we start thinking about it, we're not going to react the way we initially would. And the other thing is, too, you mentioned was that delayed gratification. Anybody that's done anything, substantial in life, you've had to be able to. You've gone to school, you get degrees, you've studied something, you created something. You've had to have some form of delayed gratification. You had to, because you had to put something off, which would be at the time a lot more pleasant than what you had to do to get to where you want to go in the future. So you've had to be able to sort of delay that, to be able to look at in the future to something that you want in the future and work towards it, and sort of give up something that you want immediately in order to achieve that in the future. And anybody who's started a business, you've probably, delayed, you've worked overtime a lot, you've delayed doing things because of doing that business. If you've obtained a degree or done any training, anything like that, you have the ability to do that. And that's very, very important, to be able to delay something that we want right now, even with food. If we want some, donuts right now, but if we delay it, we'll be able to eat something much, more substantial, something that's better for us. Be able to delay, works that way. Everything in life.
I'm going to show you, Harvey, I'm going to show you I'm listening to you, because mentioning donuts, you already made me hungry, but I'm also going to delay that hunger till the end of the show. Unfortunately, though, at this point in the show, I want to remind our audience that if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan. Our guest today is Harvey Deutschendorf. He is the author of several books on emotional intelligence. The first one, Emotional Intelligence Game Changers, and The Other Kind of Smart. Harvey, would you tell us if there a website where we can learn more information about the books and about emotional intelligence?
Yes, it's the Other Kind of Smart, one word, the other kind of smart.com. You can learn more about the books and about emotional intelligence. And yes.
I love this subject because I feel this is something all of us, we probably can't change our IQ even if we study a lot of books and read and memorize whatever. But this is something we probably, within a relatively short time, if we wanted to and really made an effort, like you said, simply the 6-second rule about getting angry or speaking back or retorting to someone, we could probably change things, make our life better, and also increase our chances of success. Now, the question we bring up in a lot of areas, who's the best at this, the men or the women?
Well, the research has shown that women are better in some areas than men in different areas. Women are usually overall probably better listeners, have more empathy, I guess, than men, just because of the societal expectations of where they've been raised. Women are usually better. They're used to connecting with each other more than men. Men have been sort of more independent. There are certain areas that women are probably better at naturally than men. But overall, there hasn't been that big of a difference. Research has shown when they've done assessments, testing of both men and women, not a great difference, just in certain areas.
I would have guessed the women, but it's good they all come out equal. Now, how about social media? Has that affected this? Because where, of course, up to a few years ago, we all communicated verbally back and forth, or we took the time to write a letter. Now it's kind of the quickest words, abbreviation, little figures dancing on the screen or something that we put in there to convey if we're happy, we're sad, thumbs up, thumbs down, etc.
Yeah.
Has that changed things?
Yeah, that's it's made it more difficult, Bill, to actually develop emotional intelligence, because we really need to. The best way to do it is face to face, where we're actually seeing the person, we're seeing their reactions, they're seeing their body language and stuff. The more of that we do, the better we are. And social media, it's people can hide, behind their emails. They can, post things out there, very hurtful and things like that. That sort of gives them autonomy almost. But we need to, even with AI and things, we need to spend time, deliberate time, connecting with one another and practicing our emotional intelligence, because we're losing connections with people. That the human, we're all hardwired for connection. And we're starting to lose that. And that's why we're seeing such increases in mental health issues. We're seeing all kinds of issues that are coming up, because we're losing that human connection. And that's so important, that we have that connection. And it's very difficult through social media to make that kind of connection.
If you were sitting on a plane with someone, they find out you're the famous author, Harvey Deutschendorf. He knows all about emotional intelligence. And they say, Harvey, this is great. I know you're going to be sitting next to me for 2 hours. I want to talk to you. I have children. I have grandchildren. And how can I use this and bring this out to them other than just buying your books and reading them? Is there a recommendation you'd give that person?
Oh, yeah. They have children and grandchildren. First of all, just emotions are emotions. There's no right or wrong emotions. Okay, so whatever emotions your children bring up is what they're feeling. Okay, so help them work through the emotions. Show them that you have emotions too. That you've made mistakes. You've struggled with things. Be open with them when they're working through something, when they're upset about something. Talk to them about it. Bring them out. Say it's okay. Never ever deny them their emotions. Okay, always let them know that their emotions are okay, and help them work through different things and struggles, so that they feel safe coming to you when they're having struggles, when they want to share things with you. I can help them along. Share your own struggles, share your emotions with them, and at the level that they're ready in their lives. And
we'll give them the other advice. Go get the other kind of smart and emotional intelligent game changers. That's going to do it. Before we wrap up, Harvey, please give us that website once again.
It's theotherkindofsmart.com.
Thanks so much for being with us today. I think we have a life changer here, and I think a lot of people can adapt this very easily to their own day-to-day existence. So thank you for your help.
That's my pleasure, Bill. It's a pleasure being on.
I'd like our audience to know that you've been listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, asking you to please join us again next week at the same time when we will continue our journey to success.